Hi guys, welcome back to the Lost Generation podcast. Today is our episode 6 and we have a very special guest, our friend Chau.
What's up? Hi everybody, my name is Chau, and just FYI, I am besties with these two over here. We met when we were 6. We went to sing class together. I shared a desk, a tiny ass desk, with Mark, who was never tiny, for 3 years.
Also, dude.
All right, we have another episode on body shaming coming up next. Just kidding.
Yes.
So I am very honored to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me. I wonder why you guys invited me to this episode.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about toxic relationship and we kind of need an expert.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't consider myself an expert.
Expert in what aspect?
But I do have a lot to say.
Okay, cool.
So we may or may not have experienced a lot of toxic relationships, but I think we sure have seen a lot of examples around us or heard of many.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. What makes a relationship toxic to you?
To me,
Yeah.
a few signs that kind of suggest that maybe you are in a toxic relationship would be: 1, your significant other kind of tries to turn you against your family or your friends, shouting and using force. And maybe a little bit of manipulation, and something that is quite maybe like subtly happening, but it's the in denial thing that maybe yourself have instead of your significant others. Do you guys think that way also? Or?
Yeah, I think that kind of captures the main point. I
Yeah,
would
it's
say.
like generally like
Yeah, I think manipulation and control, it's something that I would like to elaborate later on, because
Yeah.
it's very, like you said, very subtle, but
Yeah.
can be very powerful.
yeah, and you sometimes don't even realize it
Yeah.
because like you're living in that kind of world and you try to make it perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so to me, a toxic relationship is a relationship where your partner only brings you frustration and exhaustion instead of comfort.
Okay.
And, make you feel like you're in a safe space. Maybe they just don't really care that much, or they don't pay attention to not only the small details, but also like what's going on in your life. And
So maybe they disregarding.
yeah,
your
they're
feelings in a
not
way.
really listening. They only
Yeah.
like just I've been through that, or that's not a
Right.
big deal.
Yeah. I think it's one of the main themes of manipulating someone. It's like they are belittling your emotions and tell you like, so what? Grow up.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's,
Okay, interesting.
I think another point is that they try to make it seem like everything's your fault, and that you're the one who has to fix it.
Yeah.
So that's like gaslighting.
Yeah. They try to kind of like mess with your head a little bit. Like they make you think that maybe everything that you did, or like sometimes when they are getting mad, like it's your fault.
Yeah, and the
Right
dangerous
away.
thing is that a lot of times we don't make the right decision to leave, but we try to fix the situation by perfecting ourselves. And we forget that the problem is not us. It's usually the other person, or a
Yeah.
combination of both, who knows, or
Yeah.
external factors, but a lot of times it's not our fault.
I think that's a pretty toxic mindset for us to have for ourselves. Like we constantly make excuse for the other person while we're not really the problem.
Yeah,
They
but it's
are.
really hard to kind of extinguish like, am I in denial
Yeah, that
too
is-
early in a relationship? Because sometimes it may be like you are overthinking about your own relationship. But yeah, it's a pretty hard thing to kind of, feel, I guess.
Yeah, nobody wants to admit they're being blind or stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
this relationship.
It's like it comes with your ego as well.
Yeah.
So either
Yeah.
male or female, I guess.
Yeah, and then what is everybody going to say, and it's like a stain on your record, on your love record.
Right,
like, oh,
yeah.
I had a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
It feels really shameful.
It can be also like a description of your characters as well. It's like you
Yeah.
choose only toxic guys or girls.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is to me it's even more.
It's so demeaning.
Yeah, so I think like it also comes down to like maybe the hidden social pressures in a way that makes you feel like you don't have a voice to maybe call out that maybe you are in a toxic relationship.
Social pressure. Yeah, I think
Kind of.
I think in this heteronormative society, there's always this pressure to couple up, and to stay in a relationship. From a female perspective, I think the pressure to keep a man, it's so high that a lot of women put it on themselves to maintain a household or to keep a family together. So I think for me, sometimes I feel like I have to prove myself to other people that I'm capable of being in this relationship.
Yeah, even if you don't want to, it's just
even if I think it should be over. I just think, what are people going to say? Like, oh, of course they're breaking up because she's difficult, or
yeah, exactly.
Of course they're not going to work.
No.
She's so selfish or whatever. So those are definitely pressure for women in general.
What about men though?
In terms of what?
Like the pressure.
The social pressure.
The social pressure? I
Yeah.
think like most of the time it comes down to the fact that maybe some women or some girls, they have like this kind of expectations with men, like maybe he has to be successful, maybe he has to have like this kind of wealth in a way to kind of provide to either her family or to herself. I think it's quite toxic because in a way that to me is not really like love in a way. It's just like you are trying to find out like who is capable of raising you once more. Maybe that's just to me, as a male perspective, because I've seen it here like quite a lot. Like man has to act a certain way, man has to be macho, I guess. You can't really cry. Maybe you have to use force in order to like get your point out when you guys are arguing. I think to me that is really like the detriment of how toxic a relationship can be. I don't know, man. It's like when you guys arguing, I think that is the time for you guys to get to know each other more. Like, so you have to point out like reasons on why you guys are fighting with shit, Yeah,
it's very difficult for us to break away from gender roles, especially in straight couples.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's so important to, when we argue, we put that aside. But again, it's so hard because we were brought into the system.
Yeah.
And the reality is the vast majority of us will follow that system anyway because it works and it's convenient to follow a footprint, right?
Yeah. So you don't really have to like go all out and try to be, I guess like you can't really change the system in a way, right? Because it's already exists. And it's a big fucking thing. But I'm just saying maybe try to twitch the things that you are doing a little bit, maybe instead of using your helmet to kind of prove your point, talk it out, like try to find out like what the fuck is going on in your relationship instead of doing that on the street. To me, I think it's quite embarrassing, and it's also doesn't really help at all because it kind of relates to several theories that Joseph Carver, he's a PhD psychologist, I think.
Damn, someone did their research.
Yeah,
today.
warning signs you are dating a loser. Yeah.
You said that one to me.
Yeah, I said that one to
I have
you
some
like
stories to tell. I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay. So basically he kind of outlines like what are the characteristics that constitute a loser, either a man or woman. Here is more about men, but yeah.
Oh, of course it's more about men.
Oh, fuck you.
Hey.
So sexist.
You
I'm
cannot
sorry,
be
yeah.
sexist to men, but okay.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm kidding.
No, I get it. Like here, surely like in relationship, maybe abusive relationship. I'm not saying most of the time, but generally, sure, men can
Physically
have...
abusive, then it's
Yeah. Yeah, because of the physical attributes, so, So the first outline that he kind of mentioned about the characteristic of a loser would be rough treatment. The loser will kind of want to hurt you on purpose, especially physically. I think like one of the first main sign is that he always want to hit something, either a wall or a glass, to try to kind of vent out his frustration, because it kind of tells that maybe he's a bit unstable. He just tried to vent out his anger through physical violence. And it's a sign that maybe you can totally tell, from the first few months of dating,
A close friend of mine had an ex, and
Thank God.
yeah, thank God they're exes now.
Yeah.
But anyway,
This is becoming like anti-relationship, which is,
Which is another episode coming up.
well, yeah, we have like two now, body shaming and anti-relationship, right?
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
anti-life, anti-human, sure. Go on.
Okay, so a close friend of mine, she has an ex, and whenever they have a big fight, not like physical fight, but they have a big argument, he would always like punch the wall or like
Wow.
throw stuff from the
Yeah.
desk to the floor. And
Yikes.
when she told me that, I
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
a big yikes.
Yeah. You sure about staying in that relationship though? And she's like, but he never hit me, you know. I'm
Well,
like,
yeah,
Well,
that
not yet.
again,
Yeah.
that is like two main points. That one, she is in denial, but secondly, I think like Dr. Carver kind of say like everything that he or the significant other of you did to the wall or to the glass, it will come down to you eventually.
Well, yeah.
So it's not like they're
Yeah.
gonna lead to
At
you.
some point, you're gonna be like the only object in front of him to lash out
So,
on you.
well, basically, punch back. Yeah, you
Yeah.
become the punch
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
The second outline would be, and I think this one is actually quite interesting because some people might think this is very romantic in a way, but it's quick attachment and expression. If he say I love you or I want to marry you in like a couple of weeks, I guess.
Flashback.
Oh shit! And you say you don't have any experience.
No, I didn't say you don't have experience in toxic relationship.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so if someone you are dating or you are seeing, for example, for like a few couple of weeks and they already wanted to marry you, that is also a sign of he is quite unstable in his thought process. Like it shows that he is incapable of like either thinking ahead or maybe think rationally about your relationship in a way.
I mean, this has happened to me a few times. I don't know why people want to wife me.
Wife material.
I don't know. I think that the
Not wifey material, just FYI. But thing is, like, I see how it can be romantic, right? Because it under the assumption that the ultimate goal for a woman is to be married.
exactly. Yeah, it goes along the line with like the systematic like institutional.
Yeah, like you want to be
kind of thing.
coupled up, you want to get married and have children. So
Yeah.
it's the ultimate compliment to women that, oh, I want to marry you.
Yeah, and it sounds kind of romantic because it's like the third part of a film, right? In a rom-com,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
that you guys either get married
Well,
or something.
unless you want to analyze How I Met Your Mother, then that's literally Ted Mosby and his over romantic self.
I have never liked Ted Mosby, by the way.
You should not. He's
Yeah.
he's a the typical good guy, but he's actually
Nice
very,
guy. No,
he's
nice
guy.
Yeah, yeah.
But underneath all that niceness is ulterior motive.
Yeah, fuck his French horn. I'm like,
What a corny ass bitch.
yeah, hey, Blue, what the fuck, anyway.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So gals, if they want to marry you right away, check their bank statement.
Jesus Christ, I think I had just talked about that, right? Like that being itself is toxic.
Excuse
Not
me,
toxic.
it's not toxic.
Yeah.
It means he doesn't really mean it. He just say it to be like romantic, quote unquote, or to get you to like him. Like he's not actually wanting to marry you. I'm kidding, but kind of.
Okay, so you want to check bank statements.
It's a joke.
I don't know. Anyway, fuck hell. They would try to like bring gifts or a variety of promises.
Ah, dang it! I love that though.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to be like. Yeah, again, I think it comes down to my first kind of statement about like, are we going to overthink this?
Yeah.
You know, maybe this is just like a sign that you just take notice of. Okay.
Have you ever had like that situation when someone gave you a very big gift, like super expensive, you feel uncomfortable,
Yeah, I did.
right?
Yeah,
like they want something from you.
Yeah, that is.
Usually they do. That's the sad part.
That's the ulterior motive. They just
Yeah.
don't want to tell it, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
They expect something from you, either emotionally or well, physically.
Yeah.
I would say for women, sometimes we feel entitled to, being paid for and to be, gifted with some stuff. I mean, small gifts are fine, but for me, I have the rule of, you can say this is overthinking, but I really think of this person, like, can he actually afford this? Is it within his, like, normal paying
Yeah,
range?
yeah,
Or is he
exactly.
going out of his way?
Yeah.
So I would say be more considerate and don't just become entitled.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, men, like, don't feel like you have to go all out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
to me, like the definition of having gifts to someone is that does it have any meaning to it?
Yeah, thoughtful gifts.
Like maybe
yeah.
when I went to a beach, for example, I see something that is cool, and I think about like the other person, then I buy it. It's not something that I have to attach.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, and for the initial like weeks that you guys are seeing each other, they will definitely say everything lovey-dovey to you. But like I think by the next 6 months, they will totally kind of change.
That's
Because
so optimistic. 6 months.
yeah, I'm just give like an approximation that kind of appropriate to me. I
I
think.
love how he just looks at me when he says those things.
No, I look at you all the time.
Aww. Yeah, since first grade, bitches.
Wow.
Kidding.
Sure.
Yep. Are there any other characteristics of a loser?
Oh yeah, sure. Killing your self-confidence. Yeah, I think like you actually said that before about like they just kind of belittle maybe your arguments a little bit. They just put you down and constantly try to correct you in a way,
Oh yeah, you know what? Some women, I've heard this all the time. Oh, he's so detail oriented. He's such a sensitive guy. Like he notices like my nail colors. I'm like, girl, that's not the point because
Yeah.
if he can notice little things like that, there's nothing wrong with being detail oriented. But it's different from being nitpicking and then pointing out every single mistake or everything that he's not happy about. Like imagine living with that, and then sometimes we hear those feedbacks, quote unquote, and we try to fix them. That's the thing. Like we try to fix everything and please them. But the problem is that the other person is being too picky.
Yeah.
That's it.
And maybe they don't even change their own ways,
Oh yeah,
Like,
they
just
expect
want
you to change.
Yeah, because sometimes, oh no, not sometimes, but always it's kind of your fault in a way that maybe they are mad.
Yeah.
Maybe the way that you dress just don't really
Yeah,
fit
yeah.
into like their way of like fantasizing about you. That's the point also.
Yeah.
Like if they
That's
have
the
too
problem.
many fantasies about you,
Yeah.
they are not really living in reality in a way. Public embarrassment.
Oh lord.
I have seen a lot of like couples
No
fighting
way,
on the
really?
street.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really like young, beautiful
lot.
couples, but somehow they just try to vent out like their anger, on the street. People going to see it, and sometimes I think like what Dr. Carver is trying to say is that sometimes like the manipulator kind of try to embarrass you and puts you down in front of the public in order to make you feel like okay, so it's my fault again, and I'm going to have to say sorry.
Again with the social pressure, yeah.
Yeah. Initially, if you hear any story that they tell about themselves and you feel like something is not quite right, well, it's also a sign.
Oh, but that's such a tactic, like to get someone to like you and you fake vulnerability.
Yeah, again.
I see this a lot. Like, oh, it just all a show sometimes, and it's so hard because when you listen to those sad stories, you feel like you're being trusted.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I mean, not a lot of times, but sometimes people are just trying to make you weak and take advantage of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, I think it comes down to, like, the personality test as well. Is that, like, no, I think I have a good intuition on, like...
Yeah, I can kind of tell as well.
Yeah,
If someone's trying too hard, right?
Yeah, if they're trying too hard, if they're trying to kind of please you with their own stories about like how they fucked up this and fucked up that, but I'm pretty sure they are not telling me like the details and why did they do that.
I have a story. My ex-boyfriend told me there was this girl talking to him, just starting to talk to him, right?
Yeah.
And then she talked about how her parents died in a car crash or
Jesus
something like
Christ,
that.
yeah.
Well, not immediately at first, but kind of still early on. And then he found out she told the same story to every boy that she talks to.
Ooh.
And he was like, oh, nope, running away.
Yeah, I think that...
Like it's in some people's book to tell
Yeah.
those things. And you know what? Sometimes we do that unintentionally. I would also argue that because we trust the other person and we're just looking for someone to like vent it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But we should also rethink, is this the right time and the right person to tell your deep, dark secrets?
Yeah, exactly. Don't use it as a ploy, basically. Because, I don't know.
I did that once
Yeah.
or twice.
I mean, yeah, sure. Like, in the past, I
Yeah,
guess.
I
Yeah.
experienced that.
But we learned, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I actually experienced that in an argument.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he used that as an excuse. And I'm like,
Guilt
bitch,
tripping?
yeah,
Yeah.
don't fucking do that. I know your story. This
Yeah.
is not the time to say
Shit.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
use
wow.
that as an excuse. I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. There are also like other signs as well. So if you guys kind of interested, just look up Dr. Joseph Carver. Not Jordan, I'm sorry. But
Like-
Joseph Carver.
Wow, he has a
Can you spell out
PhD.
his name?
Warning signs you are dating a loser. Basically, if you want to check it out, sure, just take notice of this kind of thing. You know, you don't have to like, oh my god, or anything like that. Just, just read it.
Yeah, just for, educational purposes.
Hell yeah.
Not an instruction.
Yeah.
Especially not from us.
Hell yeah.
We're not paid for this.
We're also learning as individuals.
Yeah.
Despite limited experience, I have a few observations. I think for our audience, mostly of Vietnamese, I think one of the problems that I witness from males is that they are so persistent in pursuing you, and they mistake that for being romantic or being committed,
Yeah.
faithful whatsoever. Cut it, guys. Like, stop it. It's
Yeah.
not funny. I've had to like block people, unfriend people before, because they've been talking to themselves in my message,
Yeah.
for months. I'm like, get the fucking cue. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
When guys hurt you, doesn't mean they like you.
Yeah.
They're just assholes, or they're losers,
Maybe
like
they're just
Mark said.
clueless, I guess. Like, fuck.
Yeah, maybe they're clueless. Well, that's the thing.
And it's also a part of the culture of dating in Vietnam as well. There's some girls kind of expect that shit. Like, I'm not denying
no.
some.
That-
Yeah,
that is true.
That is a problem. Like,
It's like,
us
come and get
females-
me. I'm like, you're not Rapunzel, bitch.
Well, Rapunzel has long ass hair that she could have saved herself.
Yeah, and she's cute as well. I'm not,
Yeah, just be pretty. I mean,
well, yeah, it comes back to.
well, that's our advice. Just be pretty. That's it. But yeah, I mean, we cannot break the cycle, I guess. We cannot break the culture, but we might need to look into ourselves and think, is it worth maintaining this culture or not? Because, well, personally, some people, it leads to many serious consequences later on, like abuse or verbal
Yeah.
abuse, manipulation, stemmed from something so simple as someone consistently messaging you for months, right?
Yeah.
They all have consequences. So I would say for my audience, please just like watch out and
Yeah, know the cues.
know the cues.
Guy, girls, whatever. Yeah, just
Yeah.
know it. So I have like a question for you guys. Basically, have you ever felt like maybe you are the manipulative one?
You can go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
To be honest, I did, but not to like extreme level of manipulation.
No.
I usually just do that so that my partner would do something that I think is good for himself or herself. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay. So,
But it's justified in a way, right?
yeah.
so
yeah.
kind of a good cause. Just
I hope so.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I try to not to. I mean, I don't want to do it, to be honest. But
like
in
what?
times-
Like what?
So it is a little bit private, but
Yeah.
my partner has a lot of trauma, but he doesn't really want to look into it. So I kind of have to like have a sweet talk him into
Oh.
looking
Okay,
into.
so it's
Oh, that's
just-
pretty different then.
Maybe it's just like being supportive, I
Yeah.
guess.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think
Okay, I understand.
I think because of like sure you and I or even Chau and Thương also we kind of overthink a lot of situations. So
Yeah.
sometimes like when we're trying to maybe provide like good advices or maybe try to help someone, we always felt like am I being genuinely like
Yeah,
manipulative
yeah,
in a
maybe
way
this is the
because like
overthinking
we are
part.
putting our own ideas into them in a way.
Yeah,
Because like who am I to kind of change them? Yeah, I think I have felt like that kind of sentiment before, not even to my current relationship right now, but like for all the time, you know. I guess like I can argue kind of well. So if my significant other kind of say, okay, sure, you know, you win or something like that, I would immediately think like, am I being like, you know, no. They just accept it because
You said
just
that it's
because,
okay,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So in a way, it's just like an ongoing cycle of manipulation, and you know,
So recently, I've been reflecting on my behaviors in the past relationships and current relationships. Unfortunately, something came up. I think it's a little bit a long story, but I think stemming from the fact that I did not express myself directly as a child. Like but for people who know me, I'm pretty demanding, I'm pretty forward.
Yeah.
But a lot of times for women especially, you cannot be too direct or you get caught in really mean terms.
Yeah.
Other women therefore chose to just accept the fact and not demanding for more.
Yeah. Don't say anything.
Yeah. However, there are also another group that find other ways to get what they want without being direct, right? And I kind of tweaked into that area, tapped into that area more recently. I guess it's more because of the social pressure to be certain sort of women. Long story short, I learned that when I talk certain way, when I act certain way, it gets me what I want, whether it's from like a man, a woman, or from whoever around me. And it wasn't until recently that it just hit me. Like I sometimes enter a relationship with the mindset of I want things for myself and I want things to work my way. So I'm going to act certain way to maximize my chance of success. I came to the relationship. I mean, I did like this person, but I also want it my way. And that's my priority. And it's so toxic and manipulative from my part because I don't like them for who they are. I like them for what they can bring to me.
Yeah.
And just lately I thought about it and I managed to keep that loop of, just guys of the guys. Because, obviously after a couple of months, I become exhausted. Like I cannot keep controlling this person or the other person realize they're being controlled or they feel like they're not respected. Also many other problems and it fall apart, blah, 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 right? And that's something from my part. I think if you are one of those who are displaying some sort of behaviors like this, and we need to know why you're doing this, because that is not a great way to approach a relationship at all. Not just romantic, just any relationship.
But do you think can we escape from either doing manipulation or escape manipulation in just a relationship? Generally, I don't think we can.
I would recommend you guys to look into attachment style theories. You probably have heard of it. It's very popular. I mean, we all have our types or a mix of those, right? For me personally, well, I'm exposing myself over here. I'm definitely like the fearful, avoidant. Like I'm really afraid of being abandoned, of people leaving me, or things not working out the way I want. Yeah. So hence I want to control everything, right? So maybe we need to look into what happened in the past that lead us to act this way and really, really try to undo it. Yeah. And it takes a lot of work and I'm still working on it. Well,
sure.
Not done, obviously.
I think in terms of society and culture in general, it's going to affect you no matter what in terms of your characteristic, right? And I think I have also did a lot of manipulation in other of my previous relationship as well to kind of want to gain something maybe to my benefits in a way. But I don't know. I think we can't really escape manipulation in a way. Maybe like Chau said, we should kind of try to control it, know why did we do it, and basically do it for the benefit of the relationship. You guys kind of understand what I mean? Yeah. Not just for you, but maybe try to make it work. If your significant other don't really know how to do it, I guess.
Yeah, I think being manipulated or manipulating other people, it stems from fear. It stems from the
insecurity
fear,
as well.
Yeah, of being abandoned or fear that, you're not going to be loved or fear of social pressure or whatever. It stems from fear. And it's a big part of being a human being. We're constantly afraid of something. Yeah. Right? I mean, back in the day, our ancestors were afraid of survival. Yeah. Now we don't have to worry as much about that anymore. And we're afraid of other problems in our lives. And controlling that fear, it's definitely very hard. But I would say having a good support system, it's so, so important. Having that friend who is going to tell you that you need to wake up from this relationship. Exactly. Yeah. Having someone to lean on. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people cannot afford to have a good support system. So they are the vulnerable population, and they get manipulated easily, you get abused easily. But if you can, like, please don't try to stray away from your friends just because they're going to tell you the hard truth.
Yeah, because I think that some people, they just don't even notice that shit. Or they don't know how to kind of react to the fact that you just say that. Maybe like they want it to be like a hidden thing and should not be kind of say it out loud, I guess.
Sometimes it's the worst thing when you're looking for advice and then you receive judgment.
Yeah, or they just like, oh, really? And that's it.
Oh, poor you. Like, they can be condescending.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I think manipulation, again, I think it stems from like, it's a mechanism of you to defend, you know, like maybe hurtful things that had happened to you in a relationship before. So yeah, sure, but maybe just know the root of it, like Chau said, and try to make it something that is positive in a way, you know. Don't use it for your own good, I guess, but, you know, for the benefit of the relationship itself. Yeah.
He's such a bae. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
So, no, he is not you.
Not you.
He who? Like Voldemort?
You said Argentina!
Oh, Argentina.
Oh, sorry, I'm scared.
Argentina is a guy?
Shut up.
Oh, that's a code name.